Hi everyone and welcome to this FIFA 2023 video. I'm really excited to be bringing you some footage from my Nottingham Forest career mode playthrough. As you're probably aware, Forest have finally got back to the Premier League after 23 years of exile, and I'm really keen to get into this and see how we can do amongst the elite of English football. As you can see there, we're not expected to do a great deal in terms of success in the league or the cup. The main thing really for us this season is survival, making sure that we get enough points to stay clear of the dreaded drop zone. We've got a $35 million transfer budget according to that. Just bear in mind that Forest have obviously spent a lot of money already, signing approximately 22 players, so we've got plenty to be going on with. One of the things that I found quite interesting is the stadium customization options. Forest haven't got the City ground yet on FIFA 23. This is coming in a later patch. So unfortunately, Forest fans, we're stuck with Ivy Lane, like on previous FIFA titles. But nevertheless, through general customization options, I was able to customize the stadium and make it look something like, so it was more Forest, shall we say. In terms of the actual settings, being quite new to FIFA 23, I decided to start off on professional difficulty, using 5-minute halves, and also I noticed that you can do a financial takeover, which is quite an interesting take. I didn't actually do that, I just left it on the default settings there, and then I got things going.
A warm welcome to you all.
In terms of our manager, I decided not to spend too much time customizing him, so I went for one of the stock models that was actually there when you go into it. There was the option to select an actual manager, so real life manager, but yeah, I just decided to go for him. I thought he looked quite continental and suave. The friendly tournament that you can do at the beginning, obviously you want to go for the one with the biggest prize money. Might have slightly more challenging matches, but with us being on professional, I'm very hopeful that I can come through that unscathed and get myself a bit more money there. So there's a few challenges in terms of sort of signing players for the academy, bringing players through, and also quite an hefty profit margin target to actually achieve as well. So maybe having to trim some of the squad down to bring some money in. It goes without saying that Forest do still have a little bit of deadwood in the squad, Ariata. But yeah, let's see if we can sort that out over the coming weeks. And also in terms of the actual tactics and the balance, I weren't too convinced with the actual starting default tactics and formation, so I did decide to just tinker with that somewhat, so I could sort of unleash the attacking prowess of the team. I wanted to get Morgan Gibbs-White, Lingard, both in there. Brennan Johnson on the right of the attacking three behind Awanai, just to give us plenty of options in the final third, and also having O'Brien and Mangala shielding the back four. And I think that's going to give us a really good chance to do well in subsequent matches. So I was really keen to take a look at some of the training drills in FIFA 23, and also it's definitely worth doing it first time out before you decide to sim any drills. This is because if you sim it and you've not already taken part in said drill, you will automatically get a D rating, which limits and affects your players' stats and growth potential. So definitely recommend doing the drill first time out, and then if you want to sim it in the further attempts at the training drills or whatever, then go ahead and save yourself a bit of time there. But some of these are quite fun as well, sort of acting a bit like mini games, shall we say, and yeah, it gives you a little bit of something different in between the actual matches. I certainly had to look twice, but Burnley were interested in signing Arta from me, and as I said earlier, Forest, we've got a bit of deadwood in the squad. He's certainly somebody that's not fulfilled the potential that we obviously saw when we signed him. He was playing really well for Fulham prior to coming to Forest. So yeah, this is a loan deal with a buy clause at the end of the season. So really it was a no-brainer. He wasn't going to be getting any first-team football as far as I was concerned. And so yeah, let's do some tough negotiations. So literally the first offer that came in, I accepted. I didn't want to try and be clever and make any counter offers because I didn't want to jeopardise any potential deal, and I certainly wanted to get some players off the books as well. So yeah, good riddance. I was happy with this, and we all move forward. And with that, me and my assistant manager escorted Arthur off the property, making sure that he did leave and he did get as far away from the training ground as possible. Cheerio, goodbye, don't come back, good riddance. It was now time for our first pre-season friendly of the season, and this came against Espanyol. As you can see there are a number of objectives that you can actually try to accomplish within the match, and this contributes towards chapter progress. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I'm sure it will sort of uncover itself as these episodes progress. It was Espanyol that started the brighter, the left winger absolutely charging down the flank, and then Niakate bringing down one of their forward players. This led to an attacking delivery that they whipped quite aimlessly out of play, but nevertheless it was the first shot or cross in anger. Following that, Gibbs-White had an effort that was just deflected, and then we managed to recycle the ball and get it back out to Mangala, and then the keeper saved the follow-up effort. A fine team move starting with Mangala led to the first goal of the game. Gibbs-White sliding the ball through to Johnson on the right, who managed to then tuck the ball back to Awanayi to bag his first goal for the club. I'm not sure about some of the player modellings. I think when they bring out the City ground, they should also do some work on the actual player images as well. Not long after the first goal, we made it 2. Some neat combination play between Gibbs-White and Johnson resulted in Johnson charging to the edge of the area and slotting a great shot beyond the outreach of the keeper.
Well, here it is again, and the way they've been playing, that was always going to happen. They've certainly been piling on the pressure here.
Well, very effective play in possession.
Following the second goal, managed to win the ball back in our own half of the field and then get the ball forward quickly. Gibbs-White again instrumental in getting the ball out wide for Johnson. He charged through on goal, but the shot, as you can see, was dragged aimlessly wide. It wasn't long until there was a third Forest goal in the first half. Gibbs-White again instrumental, picking the ball up in the final third and playing the ball forward to Awanayi to get his second goal of the game. Get in. There were occasions when Espanyol did manage to breach our back line, but as you can see from this clip, the finishing was generally very tame. Some great tenacity in the middle third of the field led to O'Brien picking the ball up and playing it forward to Lingard, who then threaded the ball through to Gibbs-White, who crashed a great effort against the post.
And problem solved for now.
Moving on to the second half, and Espanyol was doing their utmost to get back into the game, with Braithwaite playing a good ball through, but the strike was well saved by Henderson. Gibbs-White was becoming more of a threat in the second half. However, there was some tame finishing and also some good saves by the goalkeeper that was keeping him at bay. He must have thought that it wasn't his day, but late in the match, Gibbs-White finally got himself on the score sheet.
This looks threatening. He's in behind the defence here. A goal! And I'll tell you what, on this sort of form, very few would lay a glove on them.
And with that, it was 4-0. And that was the way that the match finished. A comfortable win in the first pre-season match, and the Forest faithful are absolutely ecstatic there in the crowd.
And they played really well.
As I was keen to get into proper league action, I decided to do a quick sim for my next two pre-season friendlies. As you can see, the first one against Freiburg ended up losing 2-0, which was massively disappointing, because I know I probably would have won that match. However, the second one that I simmed, we actually beat Offenheim 3-1, so that actually turned out okay. I decided to take a look at the youth academy, and we've got a couple of players there with some real potential in Morel and Smith. It is, however, unfortunate that they both happen to be goalkeepers, but I suppose they could end up being longer term replacements to Henderson, who's only on loan from Manchester United. Clubs were trying their hand, trying to nick my best players and assets on the cheap, and I wasn't having any of it. I did, however, decide to accept a bid of 1 million for Clough. And this is Clough making his way again outside the academy. And now it was on to the serious business. This is the pre-match conference for the first game of the season against Bournemouth. So it's always good to try and big up the team and the players here just to lift the morale. You see there I said that they're all working hard, etc. And the team morale did lift a little bit, which I do think sort of transcends into the actual match. And then a slightly conservative response in terms of, can you finish in the top half? No, well, not no, but we just need to make sure that we're safe first and foremost, and then anything else will be a bonus. Heading into that first Premier League game then, and as you can see here, we've gained some fresh objectives to try and accomplish in-game. The lineups are the same as pre-season, so we're going with the back four, the two defensive midfielders behind the attacking three of Brennan Johnson, Morgan Gibbs-White and Jesse Lingard, who themselves are behind Awanayi.
The starting 11 for Bournemouth.
AFC Bournemouth shaping up very similarly in that 4-2-3-1 system. They've got Senesi, the new signing in defence. They've also got Philip Billing and Dominic Solanke, who are notorious for scoring against Nottingham Forest in their lineup.
And Brooks in possession. Can they trouble the opposition this time?
It was actually Bournemouth who got off to a very quick start, with Solanke and Billing combining, but some good defending got the ball away.
Perfect modern day fullback. He defends well in 1v1 situations. He's a good athlete.
In less than 10 minutes though, it was the first goal of the game. Johnson with an absolutely marauding run, squaring the ball to Awanayi, who smashed the ball into the top corner. 1-0 Forest. Bournemouth didn't lie down though, and they certainly carried their own threat going forward. Solanke, as you can see here, testing the gloves of Henderson. Some neat passing play through midfield led to a great crossing opportunity from Brennan Johnson, but nobody could quite get their head onto the ball. Mangala eventually picking up the loose ball, but couldn't keep his effort down. Another great effort from Forest came as Gibbs-White ran forward and smashed a great shot just wide of the post. Solanke was certainly carrying a threat for Bournemouth, and as you can see from this clip, fires a great effort just over the crossbar. Some great work from Brennan Johnson, feeding the ball through to Awanai, who just beat the offside trap and smashed the ball beyond the outreach of the keeper. 2-0 to Forest. Come on, you Reds. And it wasn't long until it was 3-0 to Forest. Some neat work in the middle of the park, feeding the ball forward, and a great pullback by Nico Williams, finding Gibbs White to smash the ball home.
Well, it's one goal after another. A highly impressive performance.
Quite get enough on it, did he?
And that was it. Full time, 3 points. Forest, on their return to the Premier League, have won their first match against AFC Bournemouth. The Forest fans are jubilant and Ivy Lane is rocking. Up the Reds.
And so the match is underway.
The challenges set out at the beginning of the game, all achieved. And yeah, I suppose I've advanced in terms of sprinting there, so you do gain some increments to your actual player stats as a result of completing those challenges. The stats looking very favourable. Had more shots, more possession. Moving on to the first post-match press conference, and it was all about trying to big up the team and the players, keep that morale really high. But yeah, it's all about keeping them grounded as well. Don't let the 3-0 result get them carried away. And that's why the first response, it's all about 100% effort. It's about that effort and commitment. Then singling out Awanai for praise. The press are trying to get me to really big him up. But no, he capped a good team display. It's all about the team and not singling out individuals. And now they're trying to bait me into ridiculing Bournemouth by saying am I surprised it wasn't a more difficult game. But again, just staying very humble, very modest, just really talking about our defence, giving us that platform to get the 3 points. With that, after game week 1, Forest are back on top of the Premier League table. Early days yet and a lot can change, but a good start. Coming up next time in part 2, I try to rip Real Madrid off for one of their prized assets. Things get heated in a game with Fulham. Mutual respect being shown between Premier League managers. And more players being escorted off the premises.